Hi everybody, it's Heather here, designing for Bella Boulevard. And this week I am featuring the Borders papers as well as the Daily Details papers from the Cap and Gown collection. And so off camera I took the border paper and I cut all the strips up and I distressed the edges. And then I had this idea in my head that I wanted to make a diagonal design. And so I took a piece of white cardstock and I trimmed it to, I believe, 10 by 10, and then I'm laying the strips across diagonally. And you'll see that in the very center, that's where I start, and the strips don't fit all the way across at first in the very center. So I cut them in half, and you'll see I keep bringing in a piece of pattern paper. It's a 6 by 6 inch piece I cut, and that's going to lay in the center of the layout. So you're not even going to see that gap there in the middle. You're not going to be able to tell that it's there. And I have the 6 by 6 paper cut ahead of time so I can keep laying it down and make sure that everything is getting covered up. So I left in all my footage for creating the bottom right corner, and then through the beauty of editing, I get the top left corner all done. And you'll see that in a couple moments. So I do turn it over and I trim all those pieces off. And then I do save the longer pieces because there are actually not enough to do the entire 10 by 10 piece of paper. So I do double up a couple of them. So you'll see that. I think I said this, but I did distress the edges of all of the strips after I cut that paper apart. Actually, it looked kind of cool with just half white, half with the strips. So there we go. Off camera, I ran this through my sewing machine, and I did not sew on every strip. I just sewed on every few ones that kind of lended themselves towards sewing. I didn't want to sew through words and such. And then I did sew around the outside of that 6 by 6 piece of paper. So I'm getting it lined up right in the middle there. And then I go ahead and pull out the Daily Details paper, which is full of lots of cut apart pieces. And I decide that I want to use the 2 tags that are on this page. So there we go. I'm going to get them cut out. And they have cute images on them. There's party blowers on them, and then there's a hot air balloon on one. But the way that I use them tucked behind the photo, you don't see the designs at all. You just see the color and the tag shape. And one of my very favorite things to add to layouts is definitely tags. I love tags. And I love distressing the edges. I think I distressed the edges of just about everything. So the photo I'm using here is of my cousin, Lucy, and she graduated high school in 2021. She does not live near me, but my grandparents went to see her when she graduated, and they took these pictures. So I was able to document it through the pictures that my grandmother shared with me. And so I keep a little container of white, textured white cardstock scraps. Anytime that I have scrap pieces of it, maybe it's an offcut from a cut file where I didn't cut the entire sheet. And if I can, I will cut it to 3 by 4 because that's the most common mat that I need. I just usually trim off, like, I guess it's almost about 1/8 of an inch from the photo on one on the top and on the bottom, and then it fits nicely with a border, not too large on the 3 by 4 white cardstock. But here I had trimmed off 1/4 inch, so I ended up having to trim down the white paper. But I just keep that handy because I find that that's most common what I use. So here I'm just adding some crochet twine to the tags. And then I don't know exactly what I want to do with the tags yet. I don't, and by that I mean I don't know if I want to tie bows or do a little loop-de-loop. So I do leave that for quite a while. It's one of the last things that I end up doing. And then I set out to determine what am I going to mat this 10 by 10 square on. And I try a lot of different pattern papers because there are such a great variety in this Cap and Gown collection. And you'll see a lot of them are offcuts from a layout I made last month using lots of circles. But every time I lay it down on a pattern paper, it felt too busy because there's so many patterns going on in the stripes, the diagonal stripes, that I felt like I just needed white cardstock. So that's what I end up going with. And then I do decide to trim that white cardstock a little bit. And I mat the white cardstock on a piece of pattern paper that mostly has a black background. And you're going to see that come up in a couple minutes, or not even minutes, moments. I'm just trying it out, and there we go. I've got it all ready to go. Bring back my photo in, and it's time to start embellishing. The fun part of the layout. So I'm just pulling out my embellishments. I have a little bowl there that I like to put all of the die cuts into, and then I rifle through them. I do cut a little bit of that out because it takes me some time to pick out what I want and to make sure I have just the perfect piece. And I go with this congratulations title. It's in a really pretty silvery foil that is throughout this collection. That is very hard to photograph. I tend to always get a glare on it. And I pop that up with a foam strip, and that's going to go right across the bottom as my title. And then I am going to use some Bella Pops, and I'm going to tuck them in this set here that has the graduation cap and a diploma. I'm going to tuck them around the title. And I like that even though my background is busy, the Bella Pops, because they have that dimension, they do really stand out nice against a busy background. I put the 3 silvery hearts that come in this Bella Pop over on the left there, but I do end up moving them because I end up finding a different piece that I think works really nicely right in there. And I think this is where I finally decide what I want to do with my crochet twine or crochet thread, and I decide to tie bows. That is most commonly what I do. I really like the bows. But lately I've been doing just sort of like twirling it, looping it, and then stapling the loop, and I think that looks really pretty too. But like I sort of said before, the background feels a little bit busy, and I didn't think I needed the extra little loop. Alright, so I did pick out a banner piece from the I always say this word wrong. Ephemera, there we go. I always want to say ephemera from the ephemera pack. And I'm going to have that as a subtitle. And I'm just adding a little bit of extra adhesive to those Bella Pops so that they don't go anywhere. And now I'm looking at the Chow Chip stickers. And some had already popped out, so I just put them in the bag there. And I really liked this graduation robe because I thought between the graduation robe and the cap and then the diploma, I sort of had everything represented. And so I decide to remove those hearts and to stick the graduation gown there. And I'm just adding those silvery hearts with a glue dot. Sort of does 2 things. It gives it some dimension because glue dots have a little bit of dimension, and then also some stick. Alright, and I'm getting that Chow Chip piece down. Adding some extra adhesive. There we go. And then I pull out these 2 little banners and some hearts too, but I seem to have lost the footage in between this, and then you're going to see the hearts and those banners already on the layout. I'm not sure what happened. And then for some final touches, I bring in the epoxy stickers, and they have just the cutest little icons. They're perfect for finishing off the layout. I love the little dots that came in there. I use a lot of those. I know I add something on top of the graduation robe, but I don't have the layout in front of me and I can't remember what it is. You'll see it in a moment though. And my video is just about wrapping up. So if you're looking for an easy, quick design, this definitely was quick, easy, and used only really one sheet of paper. So I hope you'll give it a try. And I hope that you'll pick up the cap and gown collection. It's perfect for graduation and non-graduation. Have a great day. Bye-bye.